Turritopsis dohrnii, the immortal jellyfish, is smaller than your pinky nail. When it's injured, sick, or simply old, it does something no other animal can. It reverts back to its juvenile polyp stage and starts its entire life cycle over. Scientists first discovered this in 1988, when they noticed adult jellyfish in their lab tanks were somehow becoming babies again. They thought it was contamination. It wasn't. The jellyfish were literally unaging. Does that sound right to you? Because they can theoretically live forever, they're spreading across every ocean on Earth. They hitchhike in the ballast water of cargo ships. Scientists have found them in the Atlantic, Pacific, Mediterranean, and Arctic. Researchers are now studying their genetics to understand human aging. If we could replicate transdifferentiation in human cells, it could theoretically reverse age-related diseases. A jellyfish the size of a pencil eraser might hold the key to human immortality. An animal that beat death itself, hiding in every ocean. Subscribe if nature's secrets leave you stunned. In 1997, underwater microphones recorded the loudest sound ever detected in the ocean. It came from something massive, and scientists have never been able to fully explain what made it. The truth is more chilling than you think. NOAA's underwater listening system, originally built to track Soviet submarines during the Cold War, picked up the signal on May 19, 1997. They called it the bloop. It was loud enough to be detected by sensors 3,000 miles apart. The sound profile matched a biological origin. Something alive had made this noise. But to produce a sound that loud, the creature would need to be significantly larger than a blue whale, the biggest animal that has ever lived. What would you have done? This is where it gets real. NOAA later said the sound was consistent with a large iceberg cracking and scraping the ocean floor. But many marine biologists disagreed. The frequency pattern, the rise and fall, the duration. It sounded alive. We've only explored about 5% of the ocean floor. The deepest trenches are over 36,000 feet down, deeper than Mount Everest is tall. The pressure at those depths would crush a nuclear submarine. Since the bloop, NOAA has recorded several other unexplained underwater sounds. The upsweep, the slow down, Julia. Each was massive. Each came once. Each remains officially unexplained. Something enormous is in the deep ocean. We heard it once. Subscribe if the unknown depths fascinate you. Octopuses have 3 hearts, blue blood, and can edit their own genetic code in real time. Some scientists genuinely believe they might not be from this planet. The truth is more chilling than you think. In 2018, a group of 33 scientists published a paper suggesting octopus DNA might have extraterrestrial origins. Their genetic code contains 33,000 protein-coding genes. Humans have about 20,000. They appeared suddenly in the fossil record with no clear evolutionary ancestor. Each of their 8 arms has its own independent nervous system. An octopus arm can solve problems, taste food, and make decisions even after being severed from the body. 2/3 of their neurons are in their arms, not their brain. Still think that's a coincidence? Remember what we said at the start? They can change color, texture, and shape in less than a second. Not just for camouflage. They've been observed mimicking the appearance of 15 different species, including lionfish, flatfish, and sea snakes. While swimming, their blood is copper-based instead of iron-based like ours. This makes it blue and incredibly efficient at carrying oxygen in cold, low-oxygen environments like the deep ocean, or, theoretically, another planet. They can edit their own RNA. While every other animal on Earth relies on DNA mutations across generations to adapt, octopuses can modify their genetic instructions within their own lifetime. No other complex animal can do this. 3 hearts. Blue blood. self-editing genetics. No evolutionary ancestor. Subscribe if nature's strangest creatures captivate you. In 1815, a volcano erupted so violently that it eliminated summer across the entire northern hemisphere. Crops died globally. Snow fell in July in New England. It was called the year without a summer. And what happened next is genuinely disturbing. Mount Tambora in Indonesia erupted on April 10, 1815. It was the most powerful volcanic eruption in recorded history. The explosion was heard 1,600 miles away. The eruption column reached 28 miles into the atmosphere. The eruption killed an estimated 71,000 people directly. But the global effects were far worse. Tambora ejected 36 cubic miles of rock and ash into the stratosphere, blocking sunlight across the entire planet. What would you have done? This is where it gets real. In 1816, average global temperatures dropped by 3 degrees. That sounds small. But 3 degrees was enough to cause crop failures from China to Ireland. Famine killed hundreds of thousands. Food riots erupted across Europe. In New England, frost killed crops in every month of the summer. Farmers slaughtered livestock because they had no feed. Migration out of New England quadrupled. The westward expansion of America was partly caused by a volcano in Indonesia. There was one silver lining. The bizarre blood-red sunsets caused by volcanic ash in the atmosphere inspired J.M.W. Turner's famous paintings, and the gloomy, weather-trapped Mary Shelley indoors in Geneva where she wrote Frankenstein. One volcano changed the climate, changed art, changed where Americans live. Subscribe if the power of nature astounds you. This innocent green leaf hurts so badly, it has actually driven victims to end their own lives. And what happened next is genuinely disturbing. Meet the Gympie Gympie. Lurking in Australian rainforests, its leaves are covered in millions of microscopic glass-like needles. Barely brush against it, and those tiny hairs snap off, injecting a highly stable neurotoxin directly into your skin. Think about that for a second. This is where it gets real. Victims describe the intense agony as being sprayed with boiling acid while simultaneously getting electrocuted. Because the glass needles stay trapped inside your flesh, the torture doesn't stop. The pain can last for months. Even something as simple as sweating or taking a hot shower reactivates the venom. There is absolutely no cure. Dried leaves from a century ago can still sting. Subscribe if herb skull stories like this keep you thinking, and never touch this plant. This snake is bleeding from its mouth, but it's totally fine. It's just the most dramatic actor in nature. The truth is more chilling than you think. When a predator approaches, the eastern hognose snake doesn't run away. It stages a gruesome, Hollywood-level murder scene. It violently flips onto its back, lets its tongue flop into the dirt, and physically slows its heart rate. Think about that for a second. Now you see why this changes everything. To really sell the act, it ruptures its own blood vessels and secretes a horrifying liquid that smells exactly like rotting meat. Predators hate eating sick or decaying prey, so they leave. But some animals play dead so they can hunt. The sleeper cichlid sinks to the lake floor and lies completely motionless, disguised as an easy, dead meal. When a scavenger gets close, chomp. Nature's best actors always kill their performance. The Mississippi River once flowed completely backwards, and it could easily happen again. Gravity forces water downhill to the ocean. But nature has a massive, terrifying override switch. In 1812, an estimated 8.0 magnitude earthquake struck the central United States. What would you have done? Remember what we said at the start? The ground violently buckled upward, literally lifting the riverbed and creating sudden, massive waterfalls. Millions of gallons of water had nowhere to go but upstream, drowning surrounding forests for 3 straight days. That exact same fault line is still active today, quietly waiting right beneath the water. Subscribe if exploding head stories like this keep you thinking to nature uncovered before it wakes up. If you make a crow mad today, its grandchildren will attack you in 5 years. Scientists wearing creepy caveman masks once trapped a few crows. Years later, anyone wearing that exact mask was violently dive-bombed. These birds memorize human facial features with terrifying accuracy. They don't just hold a grudge, they spread it. Think about that for a second. This is where it gets real. They will actually teach other crows, who weren't even there to recognize, and hate your face on sight. But their massive brains work both ways. If you feed them, they'll bring you shiny gifts like coins and keys. They possess the reasoning skills of a 7-year-old child and can solve complex, multi-step puzzles to get food. You are basically dealing with flying toddlers that remember everything. Subscribe if phase stories like this keep you thinking to nature uncovered for more. That annoying squeak? That animal is literally making fun of your outfit. The truth is more chilling than you think. Scientists decoded prairie dog chatter and found one of the most advanced languages on Earth. They don't just scream danger. They use specific sonic frequencies to describe exactly what you look like. Still think that's a coincidence? And this is exactly why it matters. They can actually say tall human, blue shirt, running fast in a single fraction of a second.